Orchestra Presents, and I'm joined by a really incredible guest today, the CEO and founder of the absolutely amazing Soundskool, Simon Gordon. How are you, sir? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good, Georgia. How are you?
I'm not too good. I'm good. I said not too good there.
You're
I'm
good,
doing.
yeah.
Well, a good start for me.
I'm blessed.
For
Yeah.
fuck's sake. I'm
Oh,
doing good,
God.
man. Doing good. How's things been with you? Been okay?
Yeah, man. Yeah. All good, man. All good. And it's funny timing for this podcast, like I was saying, because we're literally actually the first time since the lockdown, all the staff are going in for training tomorrow. So it's the first time we've all been together in a work environment since, back in March. So it's a
Wow.
good time to like do a podcast and that
Yeah, man,
before.
for sure. I mean, how are you feeling about that now? 'Cause obviously, you spoke about just for the podcast. I mean, how are you feeling about going to work for the first time since March?
Um, well, when we say going to work, I mean we all work like nutters.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
But yeah, it's been intense. But yeah, in terms of tomorrow, yeah, looking forward to it, and yeah, it's been such a long time, but yeah, really looking forward to getting back, seeing everyone. Just some what's it called, socialization.
Mm,
So yeah, on a
yeah, man.
on a human level.
Of course. Have you seen anyone since lockdown in the whole time since March?
Yeah, I've seen, when it became eased down. Yeah, I've been seeing some friends, and
Yeah.
we all, well, some of us actually, some of the staff met up actually on Friday night. I've got a local Caribbean restaurant with this like brilliant outside area, so we all actually met on Friday night.
Oh, nice.
Um, and not everyone can make it, but majority of us. So that was just an amazing night, Giorgio. Like
Yeah.
just to spend some time with some like nice friends and just socialize. Yeah, it was just amazing.
Of
What
course.
about yourself? Have you?
Yeah, you know what? Because obviously I'm a teacher as well, like yourself as well. That I never stopped working actually. 'Cause I was working in two schools at the time, just back to one now. So up until 6 weeks ago, obviously during the summer break, I was still working full time, still going in with a mixture of doing online teaching as well. So like yourself, the workload was absolutely intense. It
Mm,
was mental,
mm,
the workload.
yeah,
But so that break was badly needed.
yeah,
But like just to see people as well during that lockdown period as well. I mean, when it already got eased, just
yeah,
brings up morale, doesn't it? It makes you feel better when you see how instead of having like a fake like a Zoom session or like a Google Hangout,
yeah,
you're actually talking with people, our good friends, like you said, and just catching up,
yeah,
having good food, having drinks, and catching up with people is
yeah.
lovely, isn't it?
Oh, it's just amazing. Just really, really amazing. So yeah, obviously, obviously looking forward to seeing the kids and stuff, but like you know, but on a personal level, yeah, just like, you know, yeah, just getting back to seeing being around some nice people again. It would be, because you say Zoom is like the fatigue. It's just intense, isn't it?
It is. I mean, how often were you using Zoom? Was it all day for you, every day, or like say a couple of hours a day?
Yeah. We just literally took the curriculum online, because we use Google Classroom
Mm.
uh, for the teaching and learning and stuff. So, and then that's got the Google Hangouts feature. So, yeah, the students were used to the portal anyway, the Google Hangouts, like getting their work and getting it marked and all those kind of things. And then, when we went lockdown, we just literally, put everything online, online timetables. Like we had an amazing program for them, and yeah, just use the Google Hangouts, but yeah, it was literally that all day meetings, and uh, the students had a full program. So yeah, just, and as you know, it's like I was literally busier than I was physically, and it
Mm.
was just so different as well. Like it was just very, very, very intense period, you know, and we have a lot of, you know, young people to look after, and you know, things happen and things like that. So, you know, the safeguarding side, that's also quite intense, you know, because we really care about keeping everyone safe and stuff, locked down or in college, you know what I mean?
Of
So
course.
yeah, yeah, just very, very intense. So then it was nice over the summer to get, you know, a few weeks off and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, because that's like obviously speaking to other teachers as well. They all said the exact same thing about where the workload went from being already manically busy to even busier online. Because we've got
Yeah.
all the markings, the plannings, the meetings, like you said as well. Like literally, the workload was just beyond mad, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I can't take the credit for being a teacher. I'm not a teacher, you know. I don't teach anymore. You know, I
Mm.
used to do that stuff. I've got a lot of other things to do. So, you know, but you know, yeah, the team was just absolutely amazing. You know, everyone gave everything, you know, in a really, really difficult time. And yeah, so the teachers, you know, they get a longer holiday. Do you know what I mean? Like, which is great for them, and we make sure, you know, that they've all had their time off and they're resting and stuff. But like people like me, you know, I've got a few weeks off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it never stops. But that's what it's like being a founder and a CEO. You know, and if I didn't do that, well, it's my life anyway, Georgia. I don't know
Yeah.
any other way to be. You know, but you know, I just feel without, you know, someone like me just pushing it all the time, all the time, all the time. Um, it needs that. You know what I mean? It's like,
Hmm.
you know what I mean, Giorgio. It's like a captain of a ship, or being a restaurant owner. You know, the way, like, you know, you go to a restaurant, you know, and it's a good restaurant when you got the governor there. You know what I mean? And he's
Yeah.
looking after everyone, and you know, because it's important. You know, and that's how I kind of feel about Soundskool. You know
Mm.
that, um, yeah, you know, and being a founder and CEO and things like that is a hell of a lot of responsibility as well.
Of
But
course it
I'm
is.
not complaining, Giorgio. Do you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
love it. But,
Yeah.
yeah, you know. So yeah,
That's why I highly admire you so much, because obviously I know about Sound School for years now, and the things that you do and have done in the past and still continue to this day have been beyond inspirational. And that's why I've been so looking forward to obviously catching up with you and how it all started. But what I
thanks.
loved anytime, man. But before we obviously get into Sound School, how it all started, actually, I'd love to find out kind of my guest's journey into music so far. So how did you get started into music before all of Sound
Okay.
School?
Okay, so I started my journey into music through secondary school, and that
Hmm.
was through, you know, jungle music. You know, that was the thing when I was at school. So, you know, I mean, it was just like hardcore jungle sort of time. And yeah, I was, you know, raving in school, listening to pirate radio, calling the
Hmm.
pirate radio from my school, um, you know, trying to get shouts on the radio and things like that in those days. Um, yeah, so it all started through that stuff, and you know, and I used to be an MC when
Hmm.
I was, you know, young as well, like 13. I started as like an MC. I was called MC Mashup,
Oh,
and
really?
yeah, man, yeah. So it was like that, all the raving and stuff like that. And then I went from, you know, I went from MCing to DJing, and you know, I moved from when jungle went kind of evolved into drum and bass. It was like I wasn't really feeling that, and then I jumped over to the garage, you know. So
Hmm.
I had to start, and then I was about 18 at the time, and I wanted to make a tune, you know. So I don't know if you remember Suzanne's Vega, Tom's Diner. Don't know if you know
Yeah,
that
I
tune.
remember that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
So
do.
that was like, you know, that used to be on my Walkman when I used to go to school. So I used to just, that was one of the many tunes that I used to listen to on tapes, and then like, you know, copy the same tune over and over again and
Yeah.
just have it on the cassette playing backwards, you know. I was like that at school, and then listen to my Walkman, and I remember listening to that tune in the playground as a kid, and then when I got to like 18, like, so I was into the garage then, and I was just like, you know, I want to remix that tune, I want to remix that tune, and then I had a couple of pals at the time who knew someone with a recording studio down in Mill Hill, it was at that time, and we went to the studio, and I had this idea for this you know, this tune with Suzanne Vega, and we remixed it, and you know, it was a massive hit, you know.
Wow.
So that at the age of 18, I mean, we got done on our contracts and stuff. I was 18, you know,
Shit.
like we sold a hell of a lot of vinyl, you know, and if we were cleverer, we would have, you know, it was a very big tune. It's called Lost in Vegas by Some Treat, and that was, Some Treat was us. It was just like a jumble of our names, and then there was the producer was called Angel Farrington, and she pushed all the buttons and stuff. You know, at that time, you know, studios were much rarer. You didn't have like what you got today. Do you know what I mean? Where you just, everyone's got a studio, you know, you could start making music. And in those days, it was so much rarer. You know what I mean? So you
Yeah,
had to
yeah,
have the samplers and the Ataris and the, you know, and the
yeah.
desk and all this sort of game and all the MIDI backwards and forwards, you know. And so it was a little bit more normal then for someone like me who wasn't a producer to have an idea and go in and literally say, you know, I want this sound and I want this beat and I want this and that. And it was more of the done thing then. And yeah, it became a huge garage kind of anthem, and it was just an amazing buzz, you know. I
Yeah.
like literally that summer. I just remember like, I remember the moment where it kind of all just was like, what, to me. So like the tune had gone out, yeah, it had gone
Hmm.
out on this label called Johnny Biscuit Records, and it had gone out, and you know, and that was it. It was out. And we was like, okay, the tune's out. Da, 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 da. I was at a party one night, and I was like literally like 18. I was at a party, and I was outside, and then this car pulled up, and all I could hear was just this like
Yeah.
this bass line that was just like, what is that? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just the nuts, you know. It was just, what the hell? I went over to the car, and as they wound down the window, I could hear the treble now, and I was like, oh my god, that's our tune. You
Yes.
know, my mate had done the bass line. The bass is just amazing. It was just like bang on, like, and it was like that's our tune. And it was just that whole summer. From then, the tunes every time I turned on because it was pirate radio then, you know. So that was
Yeah.
so every time I turned on, it was just our tune was just everything. Oh wow! Can you imagine as an 18-year-old, you know. So that was kind of like my, and then I still DJ now, you know. I still collect vinyl. I play vinyl, two Technics and a mixer, bang, old school like
Hmm.
raw. I still collect vinyl as well. So yeah, that was my journey into music. And obviously I've done a lot of
Nice.
stuff on the way through, then a bit of production, a bit of this and that and whatever. But yeah, that's like my journey as a 14, 15-year-old raver sneaking into the club. Um, and yeah, that was my journey into music, man.
Amazing, man. Like after sick. After that first track though, like you released, but what happened
Yeah.
next? Did you release more
I,
tracks after that
no,
or
I didn't. And that's why I'm very passionate about what I do now, you
mm.
know, because I just didn't have, even after that, it was like, I don't know, I just didn't have the kind of the belief and the, you know, at that age, you know, I just didn't have that kind of wanting to push it and wanting to, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I think I've gained that later on in life,
Mm.
that kind of skill. But yeah, at the time, it kind of stems back again, coming back to the Soundskool thing and why I'm so passionate about it is like, because I kind of got pushed away from all that stuff as a kid. you know, oh, you need to get a proper job. You know, it's not. You know, it's not. So, you know, it kind of. That's another reason why I'm so passionate about supporting young people on their music journey, because myself, I was kind of. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah,
It
yeah, of
wasn't
course.
like fully supported by family and whatever and things like that. And these things, you know, they have an effect on us when people close to us. You know, I think we're born with this inherent thing that we want our mum and dad to, you know, love what we do and feel proud. You know, I think we're just designed like that, and that's what I was looking for, and I wasn't quite getting it. And I think, you know, and again, and so that's why I'm one of the reasons why I'm so passionate
Mm,
about Soundskool now. You know, giving
amazing,
them
man.
that place to say, you know what, this is what you want to do. Come here, and we will support you. You know,
Yeah,
and we'll be fully behind you. Do you know what I mean?
of course, man. Like even with the success of that single, were the family still saying like get a proper job as well, or we're
Yeah,
even slightly supporting you in that journey?
yeah. No, it's you know, there's a whole, you know, we've all got families and we've all got,
Yeah.
you know, stories about our families and things. But yeah, no, no, it, you know, it just wasn't kind of supported, and,
Oh,
you know, kind of understandably in a way, because, you know, as parents, you know, they kind of want the best for you. I don't know. In those times, music wasn't, you know, when I was 15, I'm 41 now. So you're talking like, well, 1998 when that record come out, you know, and I was 18. So, you know, even back in those times, music wasn't, you know what I mean, as sort of in, it's kind,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, more front, in forefront of digital and everything now. There's a hell of a lot more jobs and things in. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So, understandably, if you know what I mean, but
Hmm.
I I'm just the opposite now with young people or family or anything, or anything to do with doing what you want to do in life. You know what I
Mm.
mean? I'm just a big backer of that
Yeah.
now, as opposed to, you know, because I ended up training to become an electrician. You
Oh,
know,
really?
yeah, you know what I mean, and I got qualified and things like that, and all that kind of thing. I mean, yeah, it's got nothing to do with me, but to do with my life now. But you know, it it taught me some professional skills,
Hmm.
but you know, realistically, I was crying out to be a creative, and I just don't even think I knew what a creative was when I was younger.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? And I think that a lot of kids don't know that, and that's what I like to show them. You know,
Mm.
you know, you know, obviously I meet kids, obviously young people, students in the college, but we also do a hell of a lot of community work, and you know, I'm around a lot of different young people and ask me things about music and stuff and education or whatever it is, and I'm just a big believer in following. You know what I mean, Giorgio?
Yeah.
Like whatever it is in life that you love. You know, it's not the easy route. It can be really hard, and it can be, you know, but I'm a champion of that
Yeah.
now. That's where I come from my own
Definitely.
personal. Do you know what I mean?
Of course, I'm exactly the same as you. I always love championing that talent. If there's something in life that you want to do, you can't stop thinking about, then just go for it
Yeah,
and work hard.
yeah,
Like you said, it's not going to be easy at all. You've got to work your ass off to
no,
get there, but it's
yeah,
always worth it. And that's what I want to get into actually in your journey. Actually, so when was the
yeah.
actual sort of idea and spark that came to you that you think I want to start my own music school now or college? When was that kind of moment that happened for you?
So talking about that journey of being an electrician and being pushed into, you know, like I said, like doing what I thought was the right thing by getting a professional trade, and you know, and those kind of things. I just ultimately what happened was is I came to a point with it where I got trained. You know, I got a load of big jobs. I was working for myself, like got a load of big jobs in King's Cross and just like in the Barbican, just like loads of like really good work, you know.
Hmm.
And I was earning, you know, really good money and everything, you know. I absolutely hated it. I had no interest in it at all whatsoever. And it it was just funny because I just really hated it, and I was actually funny and even more fun. I was just really bad at it. Like, I'm just bad at DIY. So the
I'm the
funny thing
worst.
was, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I went to college to become an electrician because I was thinking, right, I'm going to earn good money,
Yeah.
and I'm, and I'm gonna I'm going to get trained, and I'm going to earn good money. That's all it was. It was just for money. That was like my mindset, which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
so wrong. Like, yeah, I just want to earn good money. Like, just, you know. And then I got qualified and everything, went out onto the real job and realised, oh my God, I'm absolutely shit at DIY. And actually, electricians is like, you've got to be good at DIY. It's half the job. Half the job is
Yeah.
running the wiring and being safe and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
The other stuff is you've got to be good with your hands. And I am terrible. And we can have another podcast about my life as an electrician.
Yeah. I love
Stories,
to.
like, yeah, it was funny. No, so, but yeah, so ultimately, I got to the end of my tether with this work thing, and I just felt like, I remember I was working in the city, and and I was up at 6 a.m. in the shower, like, and every minute of work would feel like an hour, and it would and I just wasn't happy, Georgia. I was
Mm.
just like walking dead. And I remember I was in the shower in the morning, like 6 a.m., thinking to myself, and it's like, is this what life is really about? Like, doing this every day this is what people do. Like, I just can't do this. And, and it just like, and let's say at the time I was earning amazing money but I didn't even laugh. I didn't even know what happiness was. I was just on this, like, so anyway, I basically came to the end of my tether and literally was like, I cannot do this anymore. Like, mentally, I just couldn't work it out. And I was just like, and the blessed thing was that because I'd worked so hard as an electrician and earned a load of dosh, I had got the money to buy a house. And in those times, I think it was like 2000 and I can't remember now, but it's about 14 years ago or something. At those times, it was just before the recession. I don't know when it was. Like, I think it was about 2008. I think just when that recession came in, and just before the recession, they used to do something called what's it called? Something mortgage, mortgage. I've forgotten the name of it now, but basically they don't do it anymore. But basically, what it meant was, as long as you had 10% of the value of the house, right? Which back then it was a lot cheaper than it is now. It's probably like doubled in price now. So if you had 10% of the value, and we're like, houses in back then were like, where around my area, like a 2-bedroom nice house now is probably about 450, 500. You know what I mean? Back then it was like 200, 250, so it was definitely 10% at that time, working as an electrician and whatever. Like, it was really easily doable. Okay. And those type of mortgages, I might remember the name in a minute, but literally what you had to do is go in, as long as you had the 10%, right? You go in and they say to you, okay, your name, blah, 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 blah. How much do you earn a year? And I said something stupid like £120,000, which is obviously not true.
Yeah.
And they say, tick, next question. Yeah. So obviously now, mortgages, they want to see your bank statement, everything.
Yeah.
You can't, so that's what happened. And I would say I was lucky enough to have a house while this happened, when I kind of came to my meltdown where I just couldn't work out life anymore. And I thought to myself, well, do you know what? I don't know what the hell I'm going to do, right? But I can't do this anymore. It's just going to kill me. I've got a house with 2 spare rooms. Okay. I'm just going to rent them out.
Nice.
So at least I can just, for 6 months just try and think.
Mhm.
And that in itself is so blessed, because normally, you know, you would have to get another job and then you don't have time to think, etc. It's because you've got to pay the mortgage or the rent or whatever. But luckily enough, I'd put myself in a position where I had a house now and I had 2 rooms. So at least that would pay the rent and everything. Do you know what I mean? And then
Mhm.
I could have some time to think. Yeah. So I did that. And I just said, right. And I rented my rooms and I said, no more electricians. It's just like, just, you know, you can imagine all the disaster stuff. But it was always fine. But it was, for me, it felt like a disaster, you know, and anyway, so I had this house and I just literally took 6 months to say and look around, you know, and say, what is it I want to do? What is it? What, you know, and I was thinking, oh, DJing again, you know, you could go down that route. No, something a little bit more secure, and I'm not a night person anyway. So actually, like, and you know, and then I said, after, you know, months, like 4 or 5 months, something, and I started thinking, oh, well, I love DJing, you know. Oh, yeah, I should say, you know, that kind of thing, and it just
Mm.
sparked something. I was thinking different things, and I started googling, you know, young people DJing like locally and all this sort of stuff, and then I found this bus in. I live in Barnet, so I found this bus in Barnet, and it was called Rolling Bass. And it was basically a single decker bus that would go out to all the estates locally. And on the bus, it would have, like, you know, music production gear, and it would have like DJ decks and a mixer, and it'd have like football gear and stuff. And basically, it would go out to all the local estates in Barnet, like Graham Park, Stone Grove, West Hendon, like all these different places in in the Barnet, you know, areas of deprivation, estates and things like that. And that's how I started. And I just volunteered, you know, for about 6 months, hardcore, like 30 hours a week, teaching DJing and teaching sort of bit of production on this bus. And I just absolutely loved working with kids and music. You know, I just, you know, it was just like heaven for me after going from this kind of work. There was just, and then I was volunteering, you know, but I thought, you know, this is just, and I just loved it. And then I was doing that for a long while. And then after about 8 months, yeah, so I finished working with them, and then I was still working with them, but I had this idea about Soundskool. And I was like, you know, I want to try and do some stuff. So I basically was going around, doing all like, I was going to see people like YMCA and just youth clubs in the borough and things, and finding out what was going on, and just like entering the sort of scene, if you like, the community scene for young people, like locally, like youth clubs and that whole council run programs, and just a whole bit about working with young people in the community, you know. And it was also the time where I'd walked into Mill Hill Music Complex. I don't know if you know it.
I know
They've
them,
got some
yeah.
recording, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
no, down there. Like, so I was down there, and Roger was actually really supportive of me initially. I come in and I had all these ideas. Oh, I've got this thing, sounds cool, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. You know, I didn't really know what I was doing. I just had a huge passion for, like, teaching music to kids, you know, DJing and production and things. And, you know, and he was really cool, and he supported me. He lent me the money for a pair of decks. It was really cool of him now. And gave me a space to do my stuff if I wanted to do stuff. And funny enough, that's then when I met Connie. So, you know, Connie, who's the managing director. So I met her. I just walked into the studio, and she was in there with Roger, the owner, and they were doing some band stuff. And then I just started talking to Connie, you know. This is, you know, it's over 12 years ago now. And then just started saying, oh, this Soundskool thing, you
Yeah.
know. she was like, yeah, that sounds really good. Like, you know,
Yeah.
that wasn't what I was doing, you know. It's just
Yeah,
like, yeah,
yeah.
you know, buying into my, not buying, you know, they just loved my energy, you know, like, and they were just, you know, they were obviously the same, you know, and they want, you know, and then, you know, me and Connie became friends, and I started, you know, showing her what I'm doing, and then I was working with YMCA, and we went for a bid, and it come off, you know, and we
Amazing.
got like 30 grand to do this bid. So we
Wow.
did these programs down at Mill Hill Music Complex with YMCA and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, and then just expanded, and then, you know, we've done more projects and more. And so basically, yeah, we started in this as a community organisation, and we've done a hell of a lot of this stuff. And we used to do a lot of, you know, all this stuff on the stage, you know, rapping, and I used to go and jump on the decks, and Connie would jump on the mic, and then we'd have, you know, production teachers come down, and music teachers, guitar teachers, and drum teachers, and, you know, I would, you know, and so it was just that we were a community organisation, Georgio, you know,
Yeah.
that's how we started, you know, and so we were going, you know, 3 or 4 years doing these small little workshops. And, you know, I wasn't really earning any money, Giorgio, you know, it was very sporadic. You know, we might have a few workshops on a Saturday, and then might have one program running where we're working, you know, a couple of hours an evening over a few nights. So it was very low on the money, but you know, my wages were starting to come in, but, you know, it was very difficult.
No, I
You
can
know what I mean?
imagine.
In
Yeah,
terms of
yeah.
like a full-time wage or whatever, you know. But I just loved it, you know. So I just carried on and just carried on, and we just done some amazing work. Done a lot of work with special needs young people, with an organisation called Community Focus, who've been in Barnet for a long time. They're very focused on, you know, 0 to 100-year-olds and people with special needs. We've done a hell of a lot of work with them, some amazing music work, and done all community stuff. And then ultimately, Giorgio, you know, after about 3 or 4 years, suddenly the bare community work that was there, the funding just went. It was just, you know, when it was like really getting bad, you know,
Mm.
and it was just, you know, youth clubs shutting down everywhere, no more funding, no more this, no more that. And, you know, I come to a point, and it was just really, it just, you know, for all the love in the world, no one would fund us because if the money was just gone. And then, you know, what we're going to do, what we're going to do. And then I got introduced to somebody who was doing some work over in Walthamstow that were a college, you know, and ended up linking up with them. And they were a bit more established. They had a little college going and stuff like that. And at the time, the funny thing is, so they were working in education. So imagine, Georgia, we're in this community vibe, you know, that was Soundskool, you know, on the estates, you know, in charities and schools, you know, working with, you know, young people on their own terms with their own music that they wanted to work on and those kind of things. So it was very community. And suddenly I'm teamed up with these people who were a college ultimately, you know, and that were educators, you know. And so that was a whole new world for us because we used to the community world. And then, but the funny thing is this guy, you know, was very interested in Soundskool, you know, and the funny thing is he had a double-decker bus, which is random,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But remember now, going back to the beginning of the story, I had a single-decker bus that I kind of learnt my trade on, you know? So it was
Mm.
just random that, you know, 4 years later, this guy just goes, I've got a bus, you
Yeah,
know?
double decker one.
Double-decker one, yeah. So I'm like, sweet, well, you know, I know what, you know,
Yeah.
let's go for it then. So that was the kind of precursor to the college, basically. It was like, okay, well, I've got this bus. We can't do anything at all with it. It's been here, you know, we don't, you know, it's not doing anything. Anyway, we got this job, and the target was to get like 80 kids a day through this bus. And I was getting like 150, 200 kids a day. And I, you know, it was everywhere around Barnet. you know, this school, that estate, that college, that green, you know, from Burnt Oak to West Hendon to, I don't know, all that whole borough. Like, even we started going into East London a bit, funnily enough, as well. So we basically just showed them what to do with this bus. Like,
Yeah.
it was, so, you know, underneath we had like production going on at the bottom of the bus in these like special seats at the bottom. You go upstairs and like there was decks at the front and a microphone, and my other guy, Shane, at the back making T-shirts and hats. You know, kids come on, design it. It was all free for them. And it was amazing. So that showed this man that, you know, Soundskool, who run this college, you know, Soundskools, like, you know, can do what they say they can do. And then we started talking about discussions about Soundskool opening a college, you know, and whether they could fund us, you know what I mean, in Barnet, because they were from East London, you know. So I was like, look, you know, we're North London, there's no one over here doing it, sort of thing, Georgio, you know, like, you know, so we're not going to be in any sort of competition or whatever, you know. So he says, okay then, you know, the thing is, obviously, you've never done this before. So how about you come in and work in our building for a year, you know, with your team. And then if you've got any problems or whatever, we'll be on hand and we can, you know, show you anything you need to know, from Ofsted to marking to, you know, the whole bit of education. And so at that time, the team was me, Connie, and Mighty Mo from Heartless Crew. I don't know if you know
Amazing. Yeah,
Heartless
of
Crew.
course I do. Heartless.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So, and that was the mad thing as well. Where I had ended up on this journey before that. Yeah, you know, Mo just called me out of the blue one day. He'd found a flyer for Soundskool, and he called. One day I was driving, and he called me up. And he said, "Oh, hello, is that Soundskool? Yeah, who's that? Oh, it's Mighty Mo." And anyway, the whole story behind it. And me and Mo were neighbours, and we became really close friends. And he did a lot of work for Soundskool. And then so we went in there and we did that. We did the year. It went really well. And then they gave us the funding for Barnet. So we did 2 courses in Barnet for the first time. In East Barnet we were based. So we did 2 level 1 courses, 1 music production, 1 music performance, level 1. Then the next year we added another couple of courses, and we had 2 level 1s and 2 level 2s. That was in Barnet. Then we moved to Crouch End. And then the story goes on, and the college built up and up and up and up. And you know, and then you saw probably the biggest event was you saw the hashtag Save Soundskools
I wanted
scenario.
to get into that actually as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
So let's go through that actually. Like, I remember that was 2 years ago, wasn't it? That happened now. But
yeah,
Say Sound School, which is that broke my heart when that happened, because obviously being such a big fan of the school and you and your work, to see that the whole funding situation went tits up basically, and you're basically on the verge of collapse. Based, I mean, what was going through your head at that time,
absolutely.
and how did that whole?
Oh, Georgia, man. Yeah, it was. Ultimately, what happened was, you know, we built up the school
Mm,
to this point. So we'd moved from those last partners in East London, and then we changed partners, and then we partnered up with this Cornell College, you know, College of North East London, you know. So they had a site in Tottenham and a site in Enfield, yeah.
mhm.
So I started working with them, and we decided, okay, we're going to move to Enfield site because it was just a little bit more green. There was a little bit more green around. It was a little bit more open. The Tottenham site's quite like, you know, right in the middle of Tottenham. It's very smoggy and whatever. And we just thought it'd be a bit nicer in Enfield. So we went to Enfield. And by that time, it was only 2 years ago, like you say, you know, we built up the school to 120 full-time students, man.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
120
that's a lot of kids
musicians,
now. Wow.
rappers, singers, you know, music producers, you know. And so it was just fantastic, you know. And then what happened was, you know, without being too, you know, political, ultimately, I've got a lot to say about these kind of places, but ultimately they're very corporate. They are absolutely uncaring. You know, students might as well be apples or oranges or suits or whatever, you know. You see, because in my position as founder and CEO, you know, I'm now meeting with the heads of these colleges. Yeah, you know, these are thousands and thousands of kids they've got, Cornell, you know, and so I'm meeting with the heads of these colleges and the previous one before, you know, our previous partner to that, you know. And so I'm in meetings with these people, and you know, everyone's a number, you know, but for us, they're not numbers.
Of
It's
course not.
blah blah, or it's blah blah, and the reason why that's happening is because all this stuff in the background's happening, and that's why they haven't attended school, or you know, but they don't care about that, right? It's a pure business for them. Okay, so all right, fair enough. If you want to be a businessman, okay, be a businessman, and I'll respect you for that. But don't be a businessman. Talk to me like you care. Do you see what I mean?
Of course.
Just stay in your lane over there. But a lot of these types, I found that they try and do both. Maybe they like to play on good-natured people, you know, that really do care, and that's what they use, you know. But yeah, so you know, they ultimately we had a contract, and come to the renewal of the contract, and we knew that they were having a merger, you know, to become the second biggest college in the country, you know. So obviously, but as we, you know, we knew they told us they're having a merger. So, you know, pre the new contract, you know, months before in the September, you know, we work in academic years, that'd be the start. So from the start of us signing the contract and in, you know, the new year starting, we're saying to them, you know, at meetings, you know, is everything all right for next year? Because of the merger, you know, we need to make sure that the college is safe, etc., etc. Yeah, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. We get to May, oh, we don't want you anymore.
So I remember watching the documentary that was on Link Up TV. I watched it again earlier
Yeah.
today and yesterday,
Oh, bless
and
her.
yeah, and to see, I remember like obviously when it first came out that about the Save Soundskool hashtag and what was happening. I remember back then as well of the clips of your students actually crying their eyes out at the thought
Yeah,
of Soundskool going down, and I felt
yeah,
like crying as well because, like I said earlier, that I was such a huge fan of what you do. You're such an inspiration to these kids, and they absolutely adore you and Soundskool. Say, your Soundskool, and
yeah,
to think of, like you said, these business people who basically not giving a shit about what you do. So it's
yeah, purely.
purely business, and it's so heartbreaking. And to see a lot of other teachers and other businesses losing money and just because they don't care about you. Like you just said, that you're a number to them, but you
Yeah,
don't see it like that. They're not numbers. These are human beings that with feelings. That He
yeah,
was so damn talented as well,
yeah.
and you're doing an amazing service by providing them the best things they needed, and that's why I so admire what you do as well, and that really broke my heart. And for you to come out of it at the other end,
Well, bless you, Georgio. You know, because what happened was you know, we had to liquidate the company. I had to pay, you know, over £5,000 to liquidate the company, and then I was left with the fallout debt, you know, which is personally left to me now. Um, and yeah, that that summer was just the worst. It was absolutely awful. It was just, you know, so obviously we found out, and then you know, because I'm quite a spiritual person, you know, like I'm quite, you know, I believe in, you know, like, you know, just being a good person,
yeah,
you know,
same.
just, you know, and that summer, you know, so we got the news, And then I said to one of my colleagues, you know, Sam Conley, who's one of the enrichment managers. He's been with us for like 5-6 years now. And, you know, Simon, what are we going to do? So I remember I was just like numb.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was literally like numb. And then obviously we sorted out all the kids going to other places and all the stuff we had to do. But like, I was like numb. And like, he said to me, like, you know, what we going to do? And I was just like, do you know what? I don't know what we're going to do. But all I could think about is like, I just said to him, we need to be in Camden. And, you know, we need to do some sort of campaign. And that was right at the beginning when it first happened, right? So anyway, so we jumped on this thing called like Save Soundskool. I mean, the team at Soundskool, all the staff, all of us were like everyone just, you know, they just gave everything for that, and we didn't stop. So from like that May, we started the campaign. I was obviously calling other institutions, trying to look at other contracts and things. And, you know, what people need to understand is like, when you're trying to phone institutions basically in June to get a contract for September.
Wow.
Do you see my point? So they left us in such a awful position, right? You know, I'm phoning this place, I'm phoning that place, and just going and going. We had the campaign going, and just like flat out, Georgio, yeah, till August, yeah, flat out, and nothing happened. I just couldn't, you know, and it was like, do you know what? Got to this August, and I was like, look, like literally, like you got to imagine there was like 15 staff, you know, we had 120 full-time students, you know, that everything was gonna go, yeah. And so we got to the summer, and we'd been speaking to these people, Whack Arts College in Camden, you know, and there was a few conversations going on, and it kind of, they were saying, yeah, no, and it was like, we couldn't work out what was going on. But anyway, and it was just, everything was nothing. Got to August, then we got back in touch with Whack, and it ends up we got a contract for 30 kids. Right in the middle of August. So it saved the organisation that we could then continue that next academic year straight away. All right, it's much reduced numbers, so all the team have to a lot of the team had to go because there was no more jobs, but we had 30 kids that we were allowed, we got the contract, and that meant that Soundskool could, you know, survive. So, you know, we went through that liquidation, everything. And then so you can imagine at that point in the year, Georgio, you've got to imagine the adrenaline that I'd been going through from May all the way up to that August. And by that point, I was just gone. And I literally, I remember saying like, and I was broken at that point. And I mean, physically, because my back went, and they say when big things like that happen, that tends to happen as well. And then I ended up like this, Georgio, because my back had gone.
Bloody hell.
Wow. In the
Wow.
middle of all of this, bless them, the chocolate factory in Wood Green found out about this hashtag Save Soundskool. They'd given us an office. This was such a low point for us, you know. So we were in this summer in this office, like we'd moved all our stuff out and we didn't know where we had the future. Then we were in the chocolate factory just as an office space. And then we got the call from WAC, we got the contract, we did the 30. And so what I was going to say is like, can you imagine how tired we were? And then we just went back into a new year. It was just, and then the second year we did with WAC, you know, the year just gone, we pushed it up to 45 kids. And here we are, we're still going, you know what I mean? And just to big up, actually, just to go back and big up Saud Khalaf, who did the documentary. And it was just amazing timing because Saud had sent me an email and give me a call literally in like I don't know if it happened in the May or whatever. He must have called me in like the March or the April, and was just like, before it happened with Save Soundskool and everything had gone, he contacted me and said, Simon, your school looks amazing, man. I just want to come on and do a documentary on he's like, I don't want any money. I just want to film and just show the world how amazing Soundskool is and everything like that. So he'd been filming since like March, you know, bits and bobs. And imagine in the middle of when he's filming, bang. So that's why he was there, Giorgio,
I know.
filming me and everyone, telling them at the time, because he was already filming us from before. So it was just lucky that he caught everything that went on there.
It's
See
like
what I mean?
it's like it's meant to be there, weren't it? It's like a kind of like blessing in
Yeah.
disguise, wasn't it?
Yeah, so bless him, and you know, and because he was amazing, and you know, he was very much supportive because it was such an awful time. So yeah, so then that story went on after Sarah helped us with that, and then we did a little screening for that as well. We did the WAC, and we got the WAC contract, and we carried on, and we were exhausted, but we did it, and then we got the second year. You know, the year we just completed, we got 45 kids, and then we're going now for the third year. And we're going to stick at 45 kids this year. And, you know, Georgia, I can't tell you too much, but we've got
It's
some
fine.
massive news coming for
Oh
next year now.
yes,
That's all I can tell you.
yes. That's what I love to hear.
You know what I mean? So, mate, when I say good news, Giorgio, I mean just like
But mate, you honestly, you of all people just so deserve it. You so deserve it because anytime I love to say things that I mean, and that is one thing that I really mean because you've worked your absolute backside off for something so amazing.
I love it, bro. It's my life. It's
No,
not even. It's not a job to me. It's my life. It's just amazing, Giorgio. So but I feel, I just the team that we've got at Soundskool is just phenomenal, Giorgio. You know, like everyone is really, really on the same page, and I'm so looking forward to this new cohort starting in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Obviously, and just to get that, you know what I mean, going back into them, like, you know what I mean, and back into here and now and COVID, and you know, like, yeah, we haven't seen them, man, and you know what I mean, like they're gonna come in, and it's, you know, and we've all been in COVID, they've all been in COVID, and so yeah, you know, we, you know, as an organisation, you know, we were blessed enough to get a lottery grant, you know, just through COVID, and because, you know, it's very hard, and I'm fighting all the time in an arts organisation, you know, education, people don't care, so I'm always fighting, you know, for things, but I forgot what I was going to say there. Sorry, Georgia.
It's all right.
Yeah, I forgot my thread. Sorry.
That's all right.
I forgot my thread. Where were
Got
we?
a lottery fund during COVID.
Yeah,
Then,
sorry.
That's
Thank
all
you,
right.
Georgia.
Yeah, that's all right.
So we got the lottery funding, and because just money's so tight, the money that we get to run the college is not enough. And like you said, the thing, I want the best for them. I want the best this. I want the best that. I want it for them. Okay, and so we got this lottery money for from the National Lottery. Fantastic. And what we've done is we've employed a lady called Afrolicious Mama. Yeah, check her out.
Really?
Yeah, and she does well-being and nutrition and you know, mental health stuff. So we've employed her to come in, spend time with students, you know, post-COVID, and you know, and really try and get into that, and to work with them and to work with the staff as well, Georgia.
Yeah. Amazing.
To try and, you know what I mean? Like, we think that, and obviously if we had more money, we would do more of that. But I just think it's, you know what I mean, Giorgio? Like, welfare for the students and for all the staff. I'm so proud of that. Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
Like,
Like, how have you been coping? Have you been okay as well during the whole lockdown period? Do you feel all right, you and your staff as well, and the kids? How have you been getting on so far?
To be honest with you, I think for our age group, our demographic, like
Mm-hmm.
16 to 19-year-olds, to be honest, I think they've been hit the hardest. Because if you can imagine in those times when you were that age,
Mm-hmm.
going out was everything.
Yeah, it
Do you
was.
know? Like it
Yeah,
was everything,
it
man.
was. It really was.
You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
I was never at home, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I think it's hit them really bad through that now. You know, I'd like to think that, you know what I mean, they're young people and then we can get them back in and everything's okay, you know, and they can bounce back, you know. But I think during that period, you know, yeah, I think they were hit the worst, to be honest. That's my personal thing.
Mm.
Um, Me, like the intensity of the work and all that stuff, and for all the staff and everyone was peak, man. It was
Mm.
peak. Like I said, all the Soundskool people are amazing, and we love it, and we got through it. It's very hard, and everyone got through it. But personally, I think I'm lucky. Um, you know, I've got a decent home. You know what I mean? I'm
Mm-hmm.
so grateful for that. I've got a job, Georgia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
I mean, I look around and I'm just devastated to see people I know who've got businesses, all different sorts of people, just losing everything.
It's,
You know, it's yeah,
it's so difficult. It's so hard because same with me, where I've seen friends, family lose jobs, their whole businesses because of what's happening now,
yeah.
and when you see like the bills mounting up and the rest of it, you see their stress levels go through the roof. And
Hey, and all the musicians as well, Giorgio.
yeah, of
Obviously,
course,
you know, I've got friends, obviously, musicians, music producers, you name it. You know, they're all
it's
in big trouble. People who are not in the music business, like I say, friends or whatever, have got businesses. They've been through hell. Some of them got missed out on that scheme. You know, if you're taking the dividends and you're, you know, then that whole part that got missed out from the furlough and whatever, you know,
mm,
and people, like you say, losing their businesses. So I'm so grateful. And I'm always like that, Georgia. Every day I'm grateful for
yeah,
Soundskool. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for my house where I live. I'm grateful for the people I work with, for everything, man.
yeah,
Yeah,
say,
you know. And so, you know, yeah, I can moan, and I always have a moan, like, you know what I mean, because I'm
yeah,
human and we're all human, you know, and I love a moan, you know, when something's stressful or whatever. But no, ultimately, it's just a moan, and
yeah,
I've got to say I'm internally grateful, and personally, you know, for everything and always. And like I say, I've got a job, man, and personally, what I did, I just been working out really hard, exercise.
mm,
I've got into a personal trainer and things, and I've just taken off with that, to be honest. And like staying healthy, eating good, you know.
yeah,
I'm actually really blessed because about 9 or 10 weeks ago now, at the top of my road, literally opens a Caribbean restaurant with outdoor seating, meeting the most amazing people, coming, eating jerk chicken from the barbecue every night or
amazing,
whatever, coffee, vegan food. So I got saved, man, because I've
yeah.
had a bit of like socialization at the end of my road, sort of. I've been
Mhm.
very blessed. And yeah, I'm looking after my health and things,
Oh,
you know.
brilliant, man! I'm so glad to hear all of that. Honestly, I'm so glad. I'm so glad because
And listen, Giorgio, it's a happy ending, bro, because
yeah,
you still don't know the news yet. You know what I
I know.
mean? So, you know,
Honestly, man, I cannot wait to hear the news. I can't wait. But bless you. But honestly, though, I feel that this has been one of the best episodes actually we've done. Actually, like the stories you shared and
oh
like
God,
like
Giorgio, I
honest.
don't know the other way to be, man.
No,
It's just me.
I love it because that's why I wanted to talk to you for so long. Like I've been so busy lately, but I thought I want to talk to Simon and just just have a conversation with him, catch up with him, and learn about your story. And what you just obviously shared with us has been nothing but amazing. So I want to say thank you, brother, for taking the time to chat with me and share your story. It's been so good catching up with you.
Oh, you're welcome, man. Thank you.
No,
And I've
anytime, man.
enjoyed it, Georgio. So,
Thank you,
you
man.
know,
Like,
you've let me ramble on and chat my chat.
no,
Say my thing.
man.
No, it's brilliant, man. Like,
Anytime, man. Honestly, I love it because I love just to learn from people and hear their story. I love my stories. I love my podcasts, and
yeah.
just to sit back and listen to them have a talk, or like you said, have a little ramble on, is it's like I said a few times in previous episodes. Like it's like weirdly, it's like therapy, isn't it? Because you're just getting things off your chest, aren't you? Like
Yeah.
things that people might not know about you, or like the things you have to go through in order to get to where you are right now. It's like
Oh
I
God,
get
yeah.
questioned all the time about like my like teaching or the orchestra stuff or this and that, not knowing what I have to go through in order to get there. People think what we do is really easy. People think we just turn up, have a business or whatever it might be, and run it really smoothly, but they don't know the ins and outs, do they? And
God, man.
God no, and that's why I just love just to hear everyone's stories of how they got to where they are now. So like I said a few times earlier, man, I've really looked up to you and really inspired with what you do. So keep up the
Oh,
amazing work. Honestly, I
brilliant.
really
Thank
mean
you
it, man.
so much.
Honestly, I really
That's a
mean it.
nice thing to say. That's a very, very nice thing to
Thank
say.
you,
And,
Matt.
thank you.
Anytime, man. You really deserve it. And keep up the amazing work, though, honestly.
God
But
bless you. We will, man. We're busy, man. We're
yeah,
busy, man.
I can tell. I can tell. But
So,
before we
yeah.
go, you guys stay on.
No, go for it. No.
I was gonna say, like, where can just in case, obviously, everyone, a
Yeah.
lot of people, like, loads of people know you, but just in case, where can people find you on socials?
Find me at Soundskool with a K. There's no personal one. It's literally my life is Soundskool. So yeah, Soundskool with a K instead of a CH. That's us.
Amazing, man. But honestly, Simon, it's so good to catch up again. I think for an amazing episode, honestly.
Oh, you're welcome, Georgio.
Anytime,
Thank you
man.
so much. I really enjoyed it, man.
Me too, man. My pleasure. And that's the end of the episode. Take care, everyone. Bye.